Hi guys, this is Josh here from Trep Films, and this is going to be a quick video explaining how we created the sound design for our short film, The Black Shuck. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned one or two things about sound design. Bye! Sound design is one of the most important things when it comes to film production. A lot of the times it's actually more important than the visuals itself. We're quite lucky with The Black Shuck in the sense that not much of the sound was recorded on set. Around 95% of the sound was recorded in post-production and then mixed into the edit later on. I knew I wanted to be creative with sound design going into the film, so I knew going into production I wouldn't have to worry too much about recording sound on set. Even the minimal dialogue that's in the film, we did ADR and recorded it after filming. Sound design is especially important when you're doing horror film. Often those sort of tense and scary moments live on the fact that there's good sound design and it's used effectively in combination with both the visuals and the music. If you had to choose between a poor image and poor sound, you'd choose poor image. Often sound can fill in the gaps that visuals can't do. The sound design in Black Shuck was made in several ways. A lot of the sound effects I sourced from the website freesound.org, and some of them I recorded myself. For some of the sound effects I needed very specific sound effects, so I knew I wouldn't be able to find them online and I'd have to record them in the right location to get the right ambience and that kind of thing. The sound design is so specific and I wanted to really build the world of sound within the film. So even the noise of Rebecca putting down the bottle of wine, I just recorded that again in the bathroom several times and got the one that sounded and fitted the image best. The sound of the toy falling over, I just knocked a toy over several times on a wooden shelf and just used the sound effect that fit the scene the best. I was struggling to find a sound effect of a pill bottle being thrown, which is what happens in the later part of the film. To achieve this effect, I just got some sort of like door banging sound effects and mixed it with the sound of Lego bricks being dropped. Did I say Lego bricks? Keep in mind when you're recording sound is not just to record a sound effect and just put it straight into your edit. If you're creating sound design, you want to build a world, it's important to build these sound effects and lay them up. So for example, if I'm building the sound of a wooded area or a forest area, I'm not just going to use the sound of wind blowing. I'll also use sound effects of trees, of twigs being snapped, of birds, and you can kind of build more into that even further. Is there like a street nearby? Is there traffic nearby? Can I build that in? And think about it in terms of the story as well. So if it's a romantic film, the woods are going to sound different to how the woods would sound in a horror film. So it's an important part of the story. So think about how sound design plays a part in telling the story. The other thing to keep in mind when dragging your sounds into your edit is not to just take them straight from recording them and straight from downloading them off a website and put them into your edit. They need to sound like they're the environment they're in. Often these sounds weren't recorded in a studio, so they're very clean. You've got a good amount of bass and the high-end sound effects as well. So for example, if you're editing in Premiere Pro, throw on an EQ there and that gives you two options. You can play with the low end and the high end and obviously everything in between. And depending on where the environment is, you might need to lose some of that high end, make it sound like it's in the room. Nothing is super crisp. If it's happening in another room, really put it down. And so often like if you're hearing music next door, you're only going to hear the bass of it. Play with the EQ in audio and think about how that sound effect would sound depending on the environment and the room it's taking place in. So the example I'm giving here is for a short horror film we made, and I appreciate not everyone's going to be making short horror films, but sound design can be used anywhere. I mean, it can really help bring your project to life. Even if you're shooting videos for business, just think about how being a little bit creative with sound design can really help give them some extra character. And one website I go to sort of find inspiration for sound design and just sort of nick some clues from is soundworkscollection.com. They have lots of podcasts and short videos about how sound design was created for a lot of Hollywood movies. So Black Shuck's on its festival circuit at the moment. In March it's playing in Moscow, but if you do want to watch it, it's available on Amazon Prime.
Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated.